I'm Rob Licuria, Senior Editor at Gold Derby, here with Emmy, Grammy, and Oscar winner Common. Um, Common, mate, you play Robert Sims, right? So he's the head of security. He maintains order within the silo. So I'm thinking, when you first sign up, what are the key characteristics that you want him to have when you're constructing how you're going to play him?
Well, first, thank you, Rob, for giving us some time to talk to you about Silo. And when I wanted to, when I first read Robert Sims and like the first scripts I got, I was like, it's something that about this character that has more than what you think. Um, and this is before I even got to later episodes, and I wanted to create because he could be just the heavy in the story, or just the brolic guy who's the enforcer. I really wanted to create this human being that really believes and is fighting for what he believes in and is willing to do anything to what he believes is protecting the people of the silo. But also have this human being like this, like a father, that's a husband, and has emotions too, because people are humans. We see people like do certain jobs and we think, oh, this is it. They like this person is stern. He's a fighter. We know he's a fighter, but what about the father in that person, or the mother in that woman, or just the person that does have fears or questions things. So I wanted to, as time went on, we really got to go more and more into like shaping him into this whole person, which I really love doing.
Yeah, you've said in the past, and you just said now, that he's more than just a heavy. And don't you think that's a really interesting way to tackle someone who we assume is a villain? Because by giving them empathy, or giving us empathy so we can think about what he might be going through, like, is he a zealot? Is he fanatical? Or does he just care about law and order because of his family? Like, that gives him some colors and shades that must help you shape him as a human being, as opposed to just like a caricature, right?
Yeah, because it is like when in shaping him, when I work on a character, I really like just do my best to like have every cell and molecule in my body be that person, and things that that inspire me or drive me. I try to allow those things to really just become Robert Sims. And in that, what you just said, Rob, was important. It's like, okay, is he doing this for his family? That may be one aspect of it. Is he doing it because this is what his father has showed him the way, and now he believes that's the best way to serve the people? Is he doing it also to stay in a position of power? Is he doing it out of fear of, like, when we make choices, it's not always just one thing, and I love getting to put those colors into a person, because no human being on this planet is all good and no human being on the planet is all bad. And I think people always say to me, man, Sims, I'm scared of Sims, or Sims is the villain. And then they start being like, oh man, that's something I like about Sims, or I'm starting to feel different about Sims. And they like, I don't want to dislike him more. So I think that's to me, Rob, it's like, I think that's what storytelling is about. Like, you give these different dynamics to these characters, and we start to see like human beings have dimensions. Everything, even situations it's not just one track. It's just, you can feel several ways. That's what I've been learning in life lately. It's like,
Yeah.
man, sometimes I can be like, yo, I might not agree with what you think politically, but I still can sit and talk to you, and we might agree on some things family wise, or how we talk about family, or we might like some of the same foods. So it's, I like looking at the depths of relationships, humanity, and that's what we did with Sims. Like, it's not, he's not just driven like, yo, I'm gonna just throw this person over
Yeah.
the balcony, and then he's happy. Yeah, that's not it.
You've just hit the nail on the head because, I mean, first of all, it's really hard to empathize or feel compassion for someone who is against you. It's just really difficult innately. And so, this show, I think, is an example of how people maybe have to break out of their own, pardon the pun, silo. Um, but I'm telling you now, like first few episodes, I'm like, that Sims character, he's bad, he's scary. But I started actually saying, you know what? Kind of like him and I kind of get him. And that was really disturbing for me because I was supposed to not feel that way. So I just thought I'd give you that feedback. And I'm not the only one.
Yeah, but Rob, I mean, not to go so like heavy on this, but the truth of the matter is, it is something important to me. I've done work with people who've been incarcerated, right? People in prison who've done some real dark things, and I've seen them make, transitions in their lives and changes. And I've met some of the most beautiful and enlightened people in prisons. Some will never be freed from that prison, but they still just beautiful individuals, insightful, compassionate, and smart. And I think, the things that get in our way of relating to people is sometimes just putting that label on people and putting that label and putting that wall up as soon as we figure, oh, this person is from this part of life. Oh, this person believes in these things. This person is of that religion. Or this person, is this type of political, has this type of political perspective. But man, when we break down those walls, it's like, oh, man, we human beings. Like I might not like the same music you like, but man, we still could like go do some stuff for our children together. It's like, and I think, Sims is one of those characters is not written so deep, but a lot of these characters in there, like, okay, how do I feel about this person? Why are they doing this? And I think that's the beauty in the writing of Silo. Like when I read it, I was like, man, this is very well written, man. And I couldn't wait to hop into this Sims
Yeah.
character.
When Sims and Bernard are on screen, I find that really compelling. And I just wonder if there's something about working with Tim Robbins that brings something else out of you that you're able to both really kind of hit the ground running and bring the audience along while you're supposed to be the bad guys.
Well, along with Tim being one of my favorites as an actor, just and he, I'm like from Mystic River. I know you think I would go to Shawshank Redemption first or the player but I mean, this dude, like his work is just some of the greatest. He's powerful. He's one of the great actors. So that already, just his talent. But I think it's something a lot greater than that allows our chemistry to come through. Um, we really got a good like relationship and like we're cool and we challenge each other in certain ways in real life. Like he'll talk about certain things and I'm question it and he'll question me and like make me think about things. He's a very brilliant dude and funny too and fun. And like I think because I feel like I consider myself an open person and I'm open. Like I'm very open with Tim and we just have a bond. Like you know, we'll go hear Jack Black's group. We went to go see them perform. What's the name of his group? I forgot the name of his group,
Oh,
but
Tenacious D?
Tenacious
Yeah.
D. We went to see Tenacious D and
So
like
good.
yeah, and it's just like I've met Tim before we got to do Silo. So coming in, it's like he my partner. And then the dynamic of Bernard and Sims is really cool in itself too, because we working towards the same goals. And I don't know everything about him because he's in a higher position than I am. And it's like it's deep because some things, as you see in season one, I don't even necessarily agree with how he's approaching it, but I still have to
Mm.
take heed to it and follow through. And then I fail him at certain points in season one, which, it adds a lot for actors, but I will say that our personal relationship to me adds some of the energy that you see, and I definitely have fun with these characters' dynamics are fun too.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of shows because if the chemistry between the two of you didn't work, the show would not succeed. It's very important because, like, I really hate it when people ask, but either of you, what is it like to be the villain? It's like, no, no, in your story, in his story, Sims is the hero. He's not the
Yeah,
villain at all. And
not at
so I'm
all.
curious, you know what I mean? That's true, right?
No, yo, Rob, nobody like people doing stuff like that. Like I always when I first was reading Sims a little bit, I thought about like, what does a CIA agent like this out doing things in the world? Why, what is like his mentality or her mentality? What do they like? They believe they're doing this to save the people of their country. They're like standing up to protect the people, and they will kill, and they will lie, and they will jeopardize their lives, and they will like be far away from their families for, or may not even have like connections with their families for a greater cause to them. So it's no way that Sims, that would be boring for me as an actor. And Sims wouldn't have as much depth. Bernard wouldn't have as much depth if they were doing it because they just wanted to be evil or they're the villains. It's no, it's they really believe in, and it makes you like think about, it made me think about those people that do, like I said, do that work. Because growing up, like I never was like support a big like our government is the greatest, like I just didn't feel that way in life. Like just being a black man in America, I didn't feel like, yes, this government is for me. But there are some people that do care. And like there are some people that do the work. But that being said, I don't think overall that the system is like that. Let me be clear. The system is not built to uplift everybody and bring equality for people. That's just not the way the system is built. But some of the people who are fighting to protect this country of the US or whatever country they represent, they really believe in what they're doing is for a greater cause. And that is Bernard, and that is Sims.
So this is a generally pretty straightforward question, but I'm curious because of Silo is so interesting in the way that it's framed in this huge gargantuan mile-long tunnel thing underground, and it's dystopian, and the sets are incredible. What were your thoughts? You get onto set for season one. I know this was a while ago now, but what was going through your mind? Like, geez, this is incredible. Or were you just blown away? What was going through your mind?
Listen, I was blown away from the first script I read, right? And I was like, and I was like, thank you, God, that they are even considering me for this role. And when I got to meet with Graham Yost and Morton Tilden, and
Yeah.
I eventually got the call that I was chosen for the role of Sims, I was like really in gratitude and awe. Like this is one of the best characters that I will ever play. I just felt that, and I felt that this project. But things start to elevate as I got involved. I got to London and got on the set, and I'm like, this is crazy. This set is incredible. Like what? Like, you get to certain places and environments, and it's just like, this just helps me as an actor. I don't even have to do a whole lot. Being in this space and being with these actors, and that was another thing, working with the actors, like just Rebecca, Tim, Chinaza, just these people that I was working with, like what I was like, this is, and then it elevated even more with the crew we had. The crew we have is like from hair and makeup to like our camera crew to, obviously set design, costume design. Man, I was like, I am working with excellence. I don't think I've been on a film or TV project where I looked everywhere and it was just excellence. And people and the energy turned out to be great. I didn't, for a second I was like, man, I need to live in London because I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
Um, and I loved, just working with the people I was working with. But to answer your question directly, the set design is one of the best I've ever been on. Like I've had people visit. I've had some of my youth group from Chicago come visit. I've had friends come visit, and I just be excited to show it off to them because I know they gonna be in awe, like, oh man, what like because they all want to see the stairs, but it's so much more than than the stairs in the silo. And it's just amazing, man, to see that work and to see that passion and detail. I just want to shout out our whole team, our crew, our cast, and writers, man. It's exceptional.
Yeah, I only wanted to raise it because it's really, really exceptional. I haven't seen a show like this in a really long time. It's so immersive and so compelling. And
Yeah.
speaking of, I was completely this is a spoiler, so if people haven't seen season one, go away and come back. Um, I was blown away by the reveal at the end about when Juliet actually leaves the silo. I'm wondering what did you think of the big reveal when you first came across it?
I was like, oh, what? Like, uh, hold up, what is going on? Like, I never thought, knew, like, Rob, I was reading these pages like I was reading a great book. Like,
Yeah.
and shout out to Hugh Howard who created, Silo comes from his book series, which is Wool, Silo, um, and as I read that end when Juliet gets out and sees what she sees, I'm like, yo, I was blew away. And I was like, this is how you end the season. Because I was looking forward to what is going on next. Like, what is going to happen in the second season is what I was thinking, like, because that took me, and I like clever things. Like, Usual
Yeah.
Suspects was always one of my favorite movies. Um, Seven, movies like, and just the idea of the tape being the thing that, I mean, as you said, spoiler alert, but people hopefully will watch the first season and get it all and watch it again if you need to catch everything. But just that idea of what would allow Juliet to make it outside and survive for however long she can survive there it was clever, man. It was smart. It's just brilliant, brilliant
Yeah.
writing.
I love the big reveals. It's like an M. Night Shyamalan movie where you're just like, what? And
Yeah.
that's what I live for. That is so exciting. And this
Yeah,
show
The
did
Sixth
it.
Sense. The Sixth Sense was one of those movies for me.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
yeah,
like, I didn't see that coming. Am I dumb? But maybe,
yeah,
but I don't care. Like it was great.
yeah.
So two non-silo questions before we let you go, because this is Gold Derby and we care about awards. Now, obviously, you've won Grammys, you've won an Emmy, and most memorably, you won that Oscar for Glory from Selma. His first question is there someone out there working on a strategy with spreadsheets and a PowerPoint so that we can work out how you're going to get that damn Tony? Like, what's going on?
Well, first of all, I want to say, and this is the truth. I go to Gold Derby and check y'all out because, as you said, you care about awards. I care about awards. Some actors, artists be like, I don't care about the awards. I care, and I really value them, and I'm grateful that you can say, hey, excuse me, Common has an Emmy, an Oscar, and a Grammy. Like man, you couldn't have told me starting off on the south side of Chicago writing raps that I would be on an Oscar stage. Come on, man. Like, so that being said, um, the strategy is to go out and do the best work possible. That's been my strategy. You know, I never like go into a project being like, yo, let me win this Grammy for this. I don't write like that. But if I write and I feel like the material is that incredible, and then I start getting that buzz, I'm gonna go out and say, hey, let's make this happen because I do like it feels good that my mother's like attending these awards and seeing me with these things, and people who come from where I come from are like, man, you represent us on these stages, and it means a lot. So that to say that, well, I just did a play. Well, I did a play last year,
Yeah.
um, between Riverside and Crazy, written by Stephen Adley Girgis with the incredible Stephen McKinley Henderson and so many talented actors.
So good.
Um, it was amazing. That was my first play. So of course I want to do more theater. I'm also producing on The Wiz, which we're opening night is is April 17th, and we're very excited about that. So I'll say this, Rob, I'm gonna keep doing the work at the best level, the highest level, and trying and striving to be a part of the greatest projects. And God willing, that Tony will come, and then I'll just keep striving to do great work.
And then you'll be EGOT winner coming.
Yeah.
And finally, I'll be honest with you. 9 years ago, when you won that Oscar with John, when they announced Lonnie Lynn and John Legend, or they didn't actually say John Legend. So you get up there, beautifully poetic speech about the legacy of the Edmund Pettus Bridge, right? And then I'll never forget seeing David Oyelowo and Oprah in the audience with tears in their eyes, listening to you talk. That was a really great moment for the Oscars. But of course, it was for you as well. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you're up there on that stage accepting an Oscar?
It's kind of like, let me be as present as possible. I tried not to think. I knew I had thought about the things that I wanted to say. I was like, let me get this out because I got something to say that I want to speak. And I felt like John and I were just the conduits of what was being said. I felt like we were vessels for the ancestors who had lived and died for us, to have the rights to do things. We were just conduits for like the Dr. Kings and Amelia Boytons and Diane Nashes and John Lewis's of that we represented in the film. And our music was also, we were up there speaking for, it was a lot going on in our country where Michael Brown had just been killed and Philando Castile and just like several other Black women and men. So I felt like we had to speak. So I wasn't nervous because I just was like, man, this is bigger than me. This is greater than us. Though, just a funny thing was, obviously you see the clock going, and John was tapping me on my back like, hey, because he was going after me. So he was like, listen, come on, hurry up. And I was like, all right, cool. I got my speech in and made sure he had his. He said some powerful things, and it just was, it was amazing. My friends always joke because I missed. Oprah was trying to give me a high five, and I walked past it, not even I recognized it because I was just zoned out. But anyway, I did my
Yeah.
best to stay present, and just tried to speak what I felt was needed to be said about that didn't have anything to do with me.
Yeah, look, that's the poetry that you're so good at writing. It just kind of flowed out. You're in that moment. The whole world is watching. And I think you delivered, man. And I'm really happy that you won that Oscar. And I'm really thankful for today. Thank you for your time and congrats on some great work on Silo.
Thank you so much, Rob. Blessings to you. Thank you for the support, man.